Sitting. All right, y'all. So we're gonna talk about something that I know you probably thought I would never talk about. I see that. That's a pine tree. I don't know what kind of pine tree. I'm in the south. There's a lot of different pine trees. It's some type of southern pine tree, but there are several that grow in the south. I don't know exactly what kind of pine tree, but that doesn't matter. Um, y'all see on the ground when it's fall and winter, this is what happens. The pine tree just covers the ground with this magnificent glory. Now, pine trees drop all year long. You're probably like, why are you doing a video about pine straw? I'm gonna tell you why. So, a lot of people, a lot of people use mulch and different types of mulch. And Backyard Farmer Pat actually gave me the idea for this video. And she showed a plant that she had, and she had put down mulch. I can't remember what kind. Oh, no. She put down landscape fabric of some sort. And I think she mulched on top. I can't remember. But she put down the landscape fabric, and she found out later, thankfully before she killed anything, she found out that the thing wasn't getting the amount of water that it should have been, because sometimes, like landscape fabric, water can come through it, but sometimes water does not come through the landscape fabric the way that you want it to, meaning a lot of it is running off and running away from the plant. So if you have it around the base of the plant, like she had it around a small tree. So think about if you had landscape fabric all around here, and the roots, if you have it out pretty far and you're trying to suppress weeds, that water may not be getting through that landscape fabric, even though it's kind of has holes in it. Sometimes the water just doesn't get through the way that you would want it to. So that being said, there is a mulch that you can use that is really good at suppressing weeds all by itself. Matter of fact, I shouldn't have walked back here just yet. I'm gonna show y'all what I'm talking about. There are, to me, the best mulch that you really could use is, pine straw, in my opinion. So, when I moved here, nobody ever raked the yard, and there was like 4 inches worth of pine straw on the ground. The grass wouldn't even grow. The grass was it was nothing but dirt. I do rake this now, but I don't rake way over here by the base of this tree. There's just no point really to me. So I want to show y'all. I never rake this out here. I never rake it. I don't think anybody has, or at least I've been living here 8 years, so I've never raked it. So I'm gonna show y'all. Y'all see that? You have a little bit of clover coming through right here, but I assure you that clover's probably not gonna make it. You have a couple of little, but you see, and this is just pine bark and broken down pine straw. And this isn't even really that thick. So imagine if you was to take this and mound it up pretty thick. This stuff actually keeps a lot of stuff from growing. Like really, the only thing that wants to grow through that is those oaks and the errant bush here and there, but I'll cut these bushes. But I've never had a mulch over here. And I've never, like grass won't even grow over here. Stuff like that just won't grow. Like I said, it has to be more like a tree that'll come up through if I don't stay on top of cutting it, which I need to stay on top of cutting this stuff because I don't want to hear. I'd rather have something else. Like I'd rather have maybe my blueberries right here. I'd rather have something else right here. And I think blueberries would be nice. It'd be nice to have maybe 3 or 4 bushes of blueberries there. But yeah, pine straw. It's a great mulch. It naturally suppresses grass and weeds and stuff. If you notice, all up in there, no weeds grow, just these bushes. These bushes are the only thing, and little trees. Like that's an oak, that's an oak, that's an oak, that's Chinese privet. That stuff is annoying. It's invasive as hell. Chinese privet, which people use it as like an ornamental thing. You see it all along there. Somebody planted that. I have no idea why. It's horrible. But even along the house, really nothing. If I don't keep that raked, grass won't even grow there. So mulch, pine straw is a great mulch that will suppress weeds naturally. Especially if you were to take cardboard, put the cardboard down, and then put 2, 3, 4 inches of pine straw on top of it. Number one, it takes a long time for pine straw to break down, but it does eventually break down. But the water will go straight through it. The cardboard will soak up the water. Water will go straight through cardboard, especially once the cardboard is saturated. So it's not going to prevent your plants from getting moisture, and it's not going to harm them. It will keep weeds and grass from growing. Most types of grass, most types of weeds. Now, yeah, some stuff, English ivy will come through it though. English ivy is, but it's usually the most tenacious stuff. Those are the things that actually will grow up through the pine straw. Most other stuff will not, because if you go, one day I'll walk in my neighbor's backyard. She has about 90% pine trees back there, and I'm going to walk back there and show you guys just how much stuff just doesn't grow back there because there's so much pine straw. And there was one spot we raked back the pine straw, and it was amazing what started growing. It was some of the most fertile soil, but it just nothing would grow because of the pine straw. Something else you can use pine straw for, which I've been using it for. If you see, I got a lot of pine straw mounted up here. It's a great insulator. So around the pseudo stems of my bananas, I've been using that pine straw when the cold comes. And if it gets, so far I haven't had to do it, but I put pine straw all around the stems, and then I put pine straw on top. And what it's great for is it's very light, because pine straw is not heavy. But it also does not blow away, because the wind has a tendency to blow through it versus blowing it off. But it's light enough that it doesn't crush your plants. It will insulate it. It's very much like hay. If it rains, water will go straight down through it, so your plants can still get water. I want to address this right quick, because somebody might ask, but isn't pine needles acidic? Green ones are. These are not green. Do those look green to you? Brown pine needles are not acidic. I have no issues with acidic soils because of this pine straw, because once it falls like this, it's already brown. Now, if I had a ton of green needles, it's different. Those are acidic, but even green needles, it doesn't take long before they turn brown, because every now and again a little piece will break out of the tree and it'll be green on the ground, but within a day it's like brown already. So this has been working great for protecting my plants without crushing them. I could just cover them, and I cover them a lot. Like this is that's a very thick, that's probably like 12 inches. Like I put maybe 12 inches on these bananas because I want to make sure that they stay warm enough. And if it gets super cold, you can put the pine straw on, and then you can put a layer of plastic on top, and that'll act kind of like a greenhouse. And then plus this pine straw is like insulation as well. So it works great for stuff like that. I've used it as mulch. I've composted it. Take y'all over here to my compost pile. A lot of my compost pile is pine straw. Now, what you have to be careful with when you compost pine straw is it takes a long time, and you also want to make sure that it stays wet. Pine straw, that's another thing about it. If you put it around plants, the water will go down to the ground, and pine straw will keep the ground wet, but the pine straw itself does not stay wet. So it won't like waterlog or rot the edge, like around the bases of your trees and stuff. It won't do that because pine straw naturally wants to dry out. Like when you look at this, like I was having a problem with this pile at first. It wouldn't even stay moist because the pine straw, it just wicks water like away from it and wants to be dry. Like if you notice, see how dry it is? And it rained 2 days ago. Now I think if I dig down deep enough, yeah, I don't know if y'all can see. Now that's wet. See the difference? And this is actually starting to break down because it's staying wet. Worms will readily eat that if it stays wet. But the first 6 inches or so is completely dry because pine straw has this uncanny ability that on the surface it wants to be dry, which is a good thing. So that's another reason why I just showed you why it makes a perfect mulch. If you were to put 3 inches down, 4 inches down, 6 inches, you wouldn't have to worry about it. The top 2 inches would probably be dry, and under there would stay moist. The worms, the microbes, and all that stuff would work into it and eat it. Now, keep in mind, I do have leaves in this pile as well. I'm going to go down here a little further so you can And like I said, when I compost with this, I don't have any problems. But you can see this is it's wetter than this stuff up here that's clearly like hay. But it took me a lot to get that wet. So if you're going to compost with pine straw and leaves and stuff, the leaves is not so hard to get wet. The pine straw, you really have to soak it. I just had to take the hose and really just soak it. I know everybody doesn't have pines in their yard, or they don't live in an area where they do. But if you do, try to get your hands on some pines. Or if you know somebody, especially this time of year, pines drop a lot of pine straw. If you know somebody's got a pine in their yard, and I don't think it matters what kind of pine. The little bit of research that I did says that if the pine needles are brown, you're good to go. If you see somebody with a pine in their yard and it's dropped a whole bunch of, ask them, can you rake them up? I mean, sometimes you gotta do a little work, or pay some kids, tell them, like, I'm gonna pay these kids, they're gonna rake this up from, pay some kids $5 or $6, $10, these kids high dollar. Now, I'm giving y'all prices from my era. That $5, $6 probably ain't gonna get it. These some new children. These new children, they fandanga. But yeah, either pay some kids or rake it up, and especially if it's a person that they're gonna rake it up, bag it up, and put it by the side of the road anyway. If you see it by the side of the road the same way if you do leaves, I mean, people will rake up pine straw around here and set it by the side of the road. A lot of people hate it for the simple fact of how a lot of people don't like it because of if they leave it on the grass won't grow. So they want grass around here. People love grass. So that's a way for you to do. You know what I'm saying? If you got neighbors, if you live anywhere where there's some pines, just try to get some if you can. Worst case scenario, you can buy pine straw. You can buy pine straw at Lowe's or Home Depot. So they sell it as mulch. I'm gonna be honest, I know people around here that have pine trees in their yard, and they actually rake up their pine straw and they sell it themselves, and they sell it for cheaper than Lowe's, and they actually make a pretty decent little, it's a little side hustle, So that's another thing. If you got a lot of it, like I have a ton of it, but the way I garden and the way I compost, it's a resource for me because I use it for so much stuff. And later on, I'm going to show you guys how you can take some cardboard, because I got some places where I want to smother out some weeds and stuff, and I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to take some cardboard and put down, and then I'm going to put pine straw on top of it, and then I'm going to show you guys how well it works. I might even do it up here too, because I'm tired of mowing, so I'm probably going to rake all of these magnolia leaves out of the way, and I'm probably going to lay all of this with pine straw. I'm not sure. I kind of want grass up here. I'm saying that, but I don't want to mow it. But anyway, it is what it is. But y'all see where them bushes and stuff come through? I'm tired of that, because I have to weed eat and stuff. But these magnolias, this is another. Now, as far as insulation, these work, but they don't work as well as the pine straw, because the pine straw kind of interlocks to itself, and it kind of makes them matte. But these right here, magnolia leaves, this is another one. If you live anywhere in the South and you have magnolia leaves, look at that, where I kicked that back. Show you guys. Hardly anything will grow through this, and they take forever to break down, but when they start to break down, look how pretty. And then look at the soil that's left. This ain't nothing but worm castings, I assure you. And you know what, I'm talking about putting grass over here. As nice as I bet this soil is, and this is another thing you could do if you left magnolia leaves down for so long. This is pretty much leaf mold. That's pretty much what it is. And I didn't run over this with the lawnmower or anything. Magnolia leaves will naturally, and you can just see, like, see how I'm just scraping this. Look how loose the soil is. Look how pretty it is. Wait, find that clean spot. Yeah, I think I might grow something here. The soil is so good over here. I have to grow some shady stuff. Find me something that likes shade and grow it over here. But yeah, magnolia leaves. And I didn't even think about this. I just walked up on it and noticed it, because I remember that nothing grows here because magnolias drop their leaves all year long. And because they're so big and thick and waxy, it takes a long time for them to actually break down. If you want to start your barbecue grill, pine straw and magnolias make great kindling to start fires too. if you need to start fires for something. But you can see just a little bit of this St. Augustine grass is coming through over here, but not much at all. I mean, these magnolia leaves, and like, I'm not seeing any worms now, but a lot of times I'll just see worms over here, just worms. But you can see that's probably 3 or 4 inches deep, because I really don't rake over here. This tree, this magnolia, pretty much feeds itself, and this isn't even a big magnolia. It's not big by any means. I saw a 200-year-old magnolia. You have not seen a tree until you see one that the trunk is 5 feet in diameter. So from the left side all the way to the right side is 5 feet across. Crazy. And such a beautiful tree. It was so beautiful. I don't think that one might get that big, but I doubt it. I don't want a 200-year-old magnolia next to my house. It's kind of daunting. I would rather have a 200-year-old magnolia out in the middle of a field that looks beautiful. That way, if it falls, it doesn't crush a house or something. But yeah, y'all, I just want to come on here and tell y'all about that mulch. So if you're looking for really good mulch solutions, if you can do it, pine straw or magnolia leaves. Pine straw or magnolia leaves. Those two are, bar none, in my opinion, some of the best mulches for various reasons. They break down eventually. Takes a long time to break down. They block out so much of the sunlight, nothing really grows through them. The soil that's left underneath as they break down is very nice. Like I said, pine straw insulates your stuff because it creates almost like a mat. I'm gonna show you, try to see if I can show you what I'm talking about. So pine straw is individual strands, but if you notice, you see how when you pick it up, I'm not holding all of that. You see how it kind of interweaves together and it makes a mat, and it will mat over anything. See how it's just like out here, it's a complete freaking just mat. And so therefore, when you go to cover up your stuff, it just makes really good insulation. It'll cover it really well. Water goes through it. You don't have those problems with water not going through it. You saw the magnolia leaves under there. It was nice and moist. Water goes through those. So yeah, I'm gonna get in the house because it's getting to be a bit rough. Y'all see him standing out there? He been standing out there I don't know how long, talking through the door to his old lady, and they talking. He calling a bug-eyed. Oh, it's all kind of stuff going on. I just simply cannot. But I want to show y'all this little bit of beauty before I leave. So my camellias have gone to blooming. You see that one about to open, but this one has already opened. See one back there about to open. This is the time of year for camellias, y'all. So they are a fall bloomer, and you can see it's gonna be a show with this one. I'm gonna trim the height down on this one. I lost that one last year in the cold, but I'm gonna let this be a trellis. I'm gonna let Clausen World sent me some butterfly pea seeds, and I'm gonna plant them at the base of this, and it's gonna be the trellis for the butterfly pea plant, and I'm gonna let it grow all over it and make those pretty flowers. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. So yeah, y'all thank you for tuning in. Felix, say, you tell them bye. Fee, say something. Tell them bye. Till next time, me and the Fee Monster. Yeah. Oh, you gonna kiss them? Okay. Till next time, me and the Fee Monster. See you guys later.